There's a video getting around on the internet at the moment, which is great. It's only about 24 seconds long or something. 12. That's really short. It's a bird floating. Now, what it is, which a lot of people have kind of got, it's just like the camera, it's the frame rate of the camera and it's synced with the wings. But there's people still saying it's actually fake. I love a good fake or real video. And I thought we could have a bit of a look at it.
Why do I find it so funny?
It's great. How the camera is synced with his wing, it's when it's in a down position, kind of like he's doing a cuddle pose.
He's like got his hands on his hips. Like, yo, you in my neighborhood?
I'm being a bird. I don't give a flap.
What was I meant to do again?
Yeah. Oh, flapping. You most commonly see it when you video like a car and it has spoked wheels and the car's going forward but it looks like the wheels are stopping. So,
or like your fidget spinner video.
yeah, so this is a problem when you film anything and it's something you kind of have to work around all the time to make something look real. So like in the fidget spinner video, once it gets in sync with the frame rate of the camera, it looks like it's stationary and then kind of goes backwards. So you kind of got to get the blur right. And
that bird obviously f***ed that up.
Yeah. I've had a bit more of a look into the video. People are saying, yeah, okay, yeah, it's synced with the frame rate of the camera. Is this bird flapping at, if it's 30 frames per second camera, 30 times a second, that's a lot for a bird. I thought, oh yeah, that's pretty flappy. So we've got two birds at home, so we're on our way to a job at the moment. So after work today, I'm going to try and replicate that result, kind of. Well, not as much that. I just want to know how fast our birds flap when they fly. But there's been more developments I haven't told you about yet. He's put up another video showing how it was made and saying that it was faked. So have a look at that.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. I thought that was great. The other thing that's worth checking out, if you're unfamiliar with the this frame sync effect, just search in YouTube helicopter frame sync, and that just messes with your mind.
It's the Floaty bird but helicopter version.
Yeah. How good's that?
Wow, that's unbelievable.
I can imagine the pilot's in there, he's just like, I feel like I'm forgetting something. Everything's working, right? It's going.
Someone else commented, I built a helicopter that did the same thing, but it only stayed on the ground.
Okay, I'm back at home now. Kristen had to go out to do some things, but I've had a bit of a muck around and I've tested out one of the cameras we've got that runs, it's a Canon digital SLR, but you can put on there like a software that hacks the firmware that's built in, and you can adjust the frame rate. And I could do 20 frames a second, and I also found that about 21 frames per second I could get the fan in the other room to almost stop. So next part of the challenge is try and get the birds, try and film them in the air, and see what their flap rate is. And then I'm gonna see if I can set that frame rate on that camera and then film them and their wings will be still, maybe. Hard bits is gonna be chasing the birds around with the camera and getting them to hover. They're not gonna hover. If they hover, that would be nice. Okay, time to film some bird flap rate. Now, this is Noonie, this is Yellow. Time to do some flying. Okay, I've managed to capture the birds at 100 frames per second, which was hard because it's low light and it's really grainy. But the thing with lovebirds is they just don't flap rhythmically. So some of the shots I grabbed was them coming into land and kind of flying from point A to point B. So the best I worked out, breaking down some of the birds flying into 1 second chunks, 3 and a bit flaps per second. And it wasn't even spaced that evenly. It was like 2 flaps, bit of a glide, another flap. So for it to work, the wing has to be in the same place each time a frame is captured. But these birds are like, nah, nah, nah. So is this not going to work? Why won't you float? I want a floating bird. But the bird in the video, Floaty McFloat there, he's got some rhythmic flap on him. I guess that's the moral to the story. Rhythmic flap. So even though our birds don't flap rhythmically enough to demonstrate the effect, it can be demonstrated with something like a fan that has a consistent speed. So to achieve this, I just kept changing the frame rate until the blades appeared to almost stop. And you can see when I touch the fan it ruins the effect because I've slowed down the blades, putting it out of sync with the camera. However, the other crazy effect you can see here is called the rolling shutter effect, where the blades look like they're warping. There's other videos online that talk about this in more detail, which I'll put some links to, but it's basically just the way the camera scans the image from top to bottom or from left to right, rather than capturing it as one perfect moment in time, which is how you kind of imagine. But what's also interesting is in the flappy floaty bird video, you can also see this effect where his feathers appear at the top of the screen for a brief frame, which is how we know the video is real and not some secret bird trick or glitch in the matrix.